I was rinsing the morning dishes when the phone rang. Mrs. Reynolds? It's June from across Maple Street. Her voice carried that cheerful tone people use when they don't know they're about to break you. June. How are you? I asked, drying my hands on a towel. Oh, I'm good, dear. I just wanted to say, congratulations. Congratulations. I frowned. For what? Well, she hesitated, for Emily's wedding this weekend. I saw the announcement in the church bulletin. She's marrying that young man. Daniel, isn't it? For a moment I thought I'd misheard her. The plate in my hand slipped and shattered in the sink. Emily's wedding? I whispered. Yes, dear. Saturday at St. Paul's. Oh, she must have wanted to surprise you. I didn't say anything. My throat locked. June's voice faded into the distance. When the call ended, I stood there staring at the broken plate. The kitchen clock ticked so loudly it felt like mockery. I picked up my phone and called Emily. Straight to voicemail. Emily, sweetheart, I just heard something about a wedding. Call me, okay? No answer. I tried again that evening and again the next morning. Nothing. By the third day I drove to her apartment. She wasn't home. Daniel's car was parked outside, polished like always. I sat there in my old sedan watching the light from their living room spill through the blinds. Finally I dialed again. This time Daniel answered. Martha, he said, sounding surprised. Is everything all right? I was hoping to talk to Emily, I said. June called. She mentioned a wedding. There was a pause. Oh. Right. He cleared his throat. Emily's been busy. The plans came together fast. Busy. My heart hammered. Daniel, why didn't she tell me? He sighed almost too calmly. You know how she is, Martha. She didn't want to stress you out. Stress me out. I laughed bitterly. I'm her mother. Watching her walk down the aisle is not stress, it's joy. I understand, he said softly. But she thinks it might be best to keep things simple. Simple, I repeated. Meaning what? That I don't come. Martha, please, he said, voice dipping low. This isn't my place to say. Emily's making her own choices. I wanted to shout, but my throat burned. Tell her I called, I whispered. Tell her I love her. He didn't promise that he would. When I drove home, the road blurred. The rain had started to fall and I could barely see through the windshield. I pulled over near the park where I used to take Emily to feed the ducks. The benches were wet, empty. I sat there until the storm stopped. That night I went through an old photo album. Emily's first birthday cake. Her graduation gown. Her father's funeral, her hand clutching mine. I spoke softly into the silence. Where did I lose you, baby? The next morning my sister called. Martha, I just heard from Tommy. He's going to Emily's wedding. Did you get your invitation? There wasn't one, I said quietly. What? That can't be. Maybe it got lost in the mail. No. It didn't. There was a long silence on the other end. Oh, honey, she whispered. I tried to sound calm. It's fine. Maybe she's overwhelmed. But my voice cracked. Do you want me to talk to her? No, I said quickly. If she wanted me there, she would have told me. After the call, I sat by the window watching the morning light crawl across the floor. The house felt smaller than ever, every sound echoing off the walls. The next few days were torture. People started congratulating me at the grocery store, the post office, the cafe. You must be so proud, they said. I smiled each time, pretending I knew what they were talking about. That night, I finally left a message on Emily's voicemail that wasn't calm anymore. Emily, I said, my voice trembling. If you didn't want me there, you could have just told me. You don't need to hide behind Daniel or anyone else. But please, don't erase me from your life without a reason. I hung up, and for the first time in years, I cried like a child, loud, messy, heart-shattering sobs that echoed through the empty house. Later that evening, I sat on the porch with a cup of tea, staring at the neighbors' window lights blinking on one by one. My phone buzzed once, unknown number. I grabbed it, hoping it was her. Mrs. Reynolds, a polite voice said. This is Margaret Carter, Daniel's mother. I froze. Oh, hello. I just wanted to say, she continued, I hope you're doing all right. I know things have been difficult. I tried to keep my tone steady. You know about the wedding? Of course. I'll be there, she said. I just thought it was strange you wouldn't be. Strange. I laughed bitterly. Apparently not strange enough for anyone to tell me. Margaret sighed. Emily's young. She'll understand one day. You've raised a strong woman, Martha. You should be proud. I am, I whispered. I just wish she'd let me show it. We both stayed silent for a moment. Then she said something that lingered in my chest long after the call ended. Sometimes, she said softly, the ones we love push us away because they're afraid of how much they owe us. When I finally went to bed, I couldn't sleep. I stared at the ceiling until dawn, replaying every memory, every smile, every time Emily said, "I'll never leave you, Mom." But she had. And I didn't even know why. The first time Emily brought Daniel home, I remember how my hands wouldn't stop trembling. I'd cooked too much, 3 dishes, 2 desserts, like some desperate mother trying to prove she still mattered. Mom, relax, Emily laughed, setting the table. Daniel's not the Queen of England. I just want him to feel welcome, I said, adjusting the candles. Daniel walked in with a smile so polished it could have been rehearsed. Mrs. Reynolds, he said, holding a bouquet. I've heard so much about you. All lies, I hope, I joked. He chuckled. Only good ones. We sat for dinner. He complimented everything, the roast, the wine, even the curtains. Emily glowed under his attention. I smiled too, but something in me felt uneasy. So Daniel, I asked, what do you do? I'm in real estate, he said smoothly. Mostly development and property flipping. That sounds exciting. He nodded. It keeps me busy. Then with a grin, Emily tells me you're still living here alone. Must get lonely sometimes. Emily frowned. Daniel. It's fine, I said quickly. I've got my garden, my books. He smiled again, polite but distant. Still, it's nice to have someone around, isn't it? I didn't reply. Later, when Emily helped me with the dishes, I whispered, he seems confident. She rolled her eyes. Mom, he's just trying to be nice. I know. I just hope he treats you well. He does, she said quickly. Better than anyone ever has. I wanted to believe her. After they left, I sat at the kitchen table staring at the empty plates. Something about the night felt. Maybe it was the way Daniel called me Mrs. Reynolds instead of Martha. Or the way Emily seemed smaller next to him, like she was always waiting for his approval. Over the next few months he came around often. Sometimes he'd bring flowers, sometimes expensive gifts for Emily. Once he showed up with a gold bracelet. Just because, he said. Emily squealed. Isn't he amazing, Mom? He's generous, I said. Daniel smiled faintly. You can't take it with you, right? I tried to laugh, but it came out flat. One evening I overheard them arguing outside. I wasn't trying to eavesdrop, but their voices carried through the window. I told you to stop calling her every day, Daniel said sharply. She's my mom, Emily whispered. I just check in. You don't need to check in. You're not a child. I didn't say I was. He sighed. I just want you focused on us, okay? Not distracted by guilt. There was a pause. Then Emily said softly, she's all I have left. His tone softened. You have me now. I stepped back from the window, heart pounding. I told myself not to overthink it. Every couple argues. Maybe he just wanted her attention. But deep down, a quiet voice whispered, he's isolating her. I ignored it. I told myself I was being paranoid. A few weeks later, Emily called. Mom, Daniel got a promotion. We're going out to celebrate. You should come. I smiled into the phone. I'd love to. At the restaurant, Daniel greeted me with that same flawless smile. Mrs. Reynolds. We ordered your favorite wine. That's kind of you, I said. Halfway through dinner, Emily mentioned something about a weekend trip. Daniel interrupted. We haven't decided yet, he said quickly. Emily blinked. I thought we did. He touched her hand under the table. Let's talk about it later. She went quiet. I forced a smile. Everything all right? Of course, Daniel said smoothly. Emily just gets ahead of herself sometimes. I looked at my daughter. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. After dinner, as they dropped me home, I leaned into the car window. Sweetheart, I said quietly, are you happy? She looked startled. Of course, Mom. Why wouldn't I be? No reason. You just seem different. She laughed nervously. Maybe I'm just growing up. Daniel smiled. She's fine, Martha. You've raised her well. You can rest easy now. Rest easy. That night I couldn't. The next morning I called my friend June. You ever meet someone and feel like they're wearing a mask? I asked. She chuckled. Every politician I've ever met. I mean someone close, I said. Someone your child loves. Her tone softened. You don't like him? I don't know, I admitted. He's polite. Perfect even. But I feel like he's studying me. Mothers always see what others don't, she said. Be careful, Martha. Don't let that boy put distance between you. But I already had. Over time, Emily stopped visiting as much. Our Sunday calls turned into short texts. When I'd ask to meet for lunch, she'd say, Daniel's working, or, we're busy this week. One evening she came over alone. I remember the way she twisted her hands like she wanted to tell me something but couldn't. Mom, she said quietly, you think Daniel's good for me, right? I looked at her for a long time. I think you should be good for you first. She frowned. You don't like him. I didn't say that. You don't have to. She grabbed her purse. You never think anyone's good enough. Emily, wait. But she was already at the door. When it slammed, the sound echoed like thunder through the house. I stood there, my heart aching, and whispered to the empty hallway. I only ever wanted you safe. That night I realized something painful. Sometimes love doesn't protect. It pushes away. And maybe, just maybe, I'd made that mistake too. It was a Tuesday morning when I got the message. My phone buzzed while I was folding laundry. I didn't think much of it until I saw the name, Emily. I smiled before even reading it. It had been weeks since she texted. But when I opened the message, my hands froze. Mom, I think it's best you don't come to the wedding. It'll make things easier for everyone. Just that. No, I love you. No explanation. Just a knife disguised as politeness. I stared at the screen, waiting for it to change. For her to say, just kidding, Mom, of course I want you there. But nothing came. My heart pounded as I dialed her number. Straight to voicemail. I called again. And again. By the fourth call I left a message. Emily, sweetheart. I don't understand. Did I do something wrong? Please call me. Silence. That night I barely slept. Every time my eyes closed, I saw her as a little girl standing on stage during her school play, waving at me in the crowd. I remembered promising her I'd always be there. And now she was telling me not to come. By morning I couldn't take it anymore. I grabbed my keys and drove to her apartment. When I knocked, it wasn't Emily who answered. It was Daniel. Oh, he said, clearly surprised. Mrs. Reynolds. Where's Emily? I asked. She's not here. I tried calling her. She's overwhelmed, he said. You know how weddings can be. I don't care how overwhelmed she is, I snapped. She's my daughter. He sighed, lowering his voice. Martha, please. Don't make this harder for her. I stepped closer. Harder. I'm trying to understand why my only child doesn't want me at her wedding. He looked me straight in the eye. Come. Almost rehearsed. She needs space. You've been overbearing. I felt my stomach twist. Overbearing. She told me you call too much, ask too many questions, make her feel guilty for moving on. That's not true, I whispered. I only wanted her to be happy. I believe you, he said softly. But sometimes love smothers. Emily just needs time. I stood there shaking. You've been talking to her about me, haven't you? He didn't answer. I took a deep breath. Tell her I stopped by. Tell her I love her. Tell her I'll always be her mother. He nodded once. I'll let her know. But his eyes said something else, something colder. When I drove home, I couldn't remember half the trip. My mind felt foggy, heavy, like I was walking through water. I made tea I didn't drink. I stared at the wall. I checked my phone every few minutes. Still nothing. Around midnight I finally sent a message. I don't understand what I did wrong. Please talk to me, Emily. I can't lose you too. No reply. The next morning I went to the backyard to water the plants. The roses had started to wilt. I trimmed them carefully, like maybe if I saved them I could save her too. My neighbor, Mrs. Lawson, called from over the fence. You all right, Martha? You look pale. I forced a smile. Just tired. Is everything okay with Emily? She asked gently. I hesitated, then said, she's getting married. Her face lit up. That's wonderful. I nodded slowly. She didn't invite me. Her smile faded. Oh, honey. I swallowed hard. She sent a message telling me not to come. Mrs. Lawson put a hand on her chest. Why would she do that? I wish I knew. She leaned closer. Sometimes kids make mistakes, dear. Give her time. I've been giving her time for months, I said quietly. All I get back is silence. Later that day I tried calling again. Still nothing. By evening I couldn't stand it. I sat on my bed holding my phone like a lifeline. I opened our old messages. Birthday wishes, little love you notes, photos from when she moved into her first apartment. I scrolled and scrolled until I reached the beginning, the one where she'd written, "You're my best friend, Mom. Always." The tears came before I could stop them. Hours later my phone buzzed again. My heart leaped, her name on the screen. But it wasn't Emily. It was a different number. Hello. I answered quickly. Mrs. Reynolds? The voice was smooth, older. Yes. This is Margaret Carter. Daniel's mother. I froze. Oh, hello, Margaret. I hope I'm not calling too late. No, not at all. Is everything all right? She paused. I just wanted to check on you. I heard about the situation. My stomach tightened. Then you know. I do, she said. And I think it's wrong. Her voice was calm, but there was something firm underneath. Emily's a good girl, I whispered. I don't know what's happening to her. Weddings bring out strange behavior, she said. But no mother should be left out. You deserve to see your daughter get married. I laughed bitterly. Seems my daughter disagrees. Margaret hesitated. Meet me on the day, Martha. Don't stay away. Some things must be witnessed in person. I blinked. You want me to come? Yes, she said. And walk in with me. Let them both see who really stands behind them. I didn't answer right away. My heart was racing. Why would you do that for me? I asked. Margaret's tone softened. Because I know what it's like to lose a child's respect. And I wouldn't wish that on anyone. When the call ended, I sat in silence for a long time. Her words echoed in my head. Some things must be witnessed in person. I looked down at my phone again. Emily's last message still glowed on the screen. And I whispered to it, "You can tell me not to come, baby. But I will. Because I'm still your mother." The morning of Emily's wedding felt like a storm pretending to be calm. I stood in front of the mirror, staring at the dress I hadn't planned to wear. It was soft blue, the one I'd worn to her graduation. I ran my fingers along the fabric, whispering, "You said you loved this color, remember?" My heart thudded. My hands shook as I pinned my hair. I didn't even know where the wedding was until Margaret texted me the address that morning. St. Andrew's Chapel, noon. Come quietly. I'll wait outside. So I did. The drive was a blur. Every traffic light felt like a test of courage. My chest hurt, my palms slick with sweat. I kept asking myself, what if she hates me for showing up? What if I ruin everything? When I reached the chapel, I saw Margaret standing near the gate. Dignified, graceful, wearing pearls. She smiled softly when she saw me. "You came," she said. "You asked me to," I replied, my voice trembling. She looked at me kindly. "You look lovely, Martha." I tried to smile. "Do I? I feel like a ghost." Margaret exhaled slowly. "Then let's haunt them with grace." Inside, music played softly. Guests filled the pews, chatting quietly. I kept my head low, walking beside Margaret like her shadow. "Don't worry," she murmured. "They'll think you're with me." I nodded, clutching my purse to hide my shaking hands. When I looked toward the altar, I saw Emily. My daughter. My beautiful girl. Dressed in white lace, veil glowing in the sunlight. She looked radiant. And so far away. She turned slightly, laughing at something Daniel whispered. My throat tightened. Margaret leaned close. "Still think you shouldn't be here?" "I don't know," I whispered. "Maybe I shouldn't have come." "Then why are your eyes full of tears?" she asked softly. Before I could answer, Daniel noticed us. His smile froze. He whispered something to Emily and she followed his gaze. When her eyes met mine, the world stopped. Her smile faltered. Her lips parted slightly. And in that small, silent moment, every memory between us came rushing back. Birthday cakes, bedtime stories, broken hearts mended over tea. Then she looked away. The ceremony began. I sat quietly, each word of the vows cutting deeper than the last. For better or worse. In sickness and in health. I remembered saying those words myself years ago. I remembered breaking them when life took him away. When the applause started, I clapped softly. Margaret whispered, "You did the right thing." I didn't feel like it. After the ceremony, people poured out into the garden for photos. I stayed back, unsure if I should hide or leave. Then I heard my name. Mom. I turned. Emily stood there, bouquet trembling in her hand. Her eyes were red. "Emily," I breathed. "You look beautiful." "What are you doing here?" she asked, voice shaking. "I came to see you get married." "I told you not to," she whispered, glancing around. "Daniel said." "I know what he said," I interrupted. "But I had to be here. I couldn't let this day pass without seeing my daughter." She blinked rapidly, tears threatening to fall. "You shouldn't have come." "I couldn't stay away," I said softly. "I raised you, Emily. I held your hand through every storm. Did you really think I'd let you walk into a new life without one goodbye?" She looked down. "It's complicated, Mom." "I'm sure it is," I said. "But whatever Daniel told you, it isn't true." She shook her head. "He said you'd make a scene." I smiled sadly. "I'm just standing here, sweetheart. Watching you glow." For a second she almost smiled. Then Daniel appeared beside her, his expression tight. "Mrs. Reynolds," he said sharply. "We asked you not to come." Margaret stepped forward. "I invited her," she said evenly. "She had every right to be here." Daniel's jaw clenched. "Mom, this isn't your business." "Oh, it very much is," she said coldly. "You think you can control who this family allows in? You forget I built this family." Guests nearby turned to look. Emily's face went pale. "Please," I whispered. "Don't fight. Not today." Daniel turned to me, his voice low. "You've caused enough problems. Leave." I straightened my shoulders. "No." He blinked, surprised. "I won't leave," I said quietly. "You can hate me, Daniel. You can even blame me. But I will not walk away from my daughter on her wedding day." Emily's voice cracked. "Stop it, both of you." Margaret laid a hand on my arm. "Come with me," she whispered. We stepped aside, letting the chaos settle. I watched Emily and Daniel from a distance, her head bowed, his voice sharp. My stomach turned. Margaret sighed. "He's doing to her what he did to me." I looked at her. "What do you mean?" Her eyes glistened. "He learned manipulation from his father. Always sweet in public, cruel in private. I thought Emily could change him. I see now she can't." The words hit me like thunder. "You knew." She nodded slowly. "I warned her once. She didn't listen." I swallowed hard. "Then why let her marry him?" "Because," she said, voice trembling, "some lessons you can't stop. You can only witness." I turned back toward my daughter. She was crying now, wiping her eyes as Daniel grabbed her arm too tightly. My heart cracked open. "Let her go," I shouted before I could stop myself. Everyone turned. Daniel dropped her hand, face twisting. "This is exactly what I meant," he hissed. "You see? Drama." Emily stepped back, whispering, "Daniel, stop." "Stop," he said bitterly. "Your mother ruined everything." I stepped closer, my voice shaking but steady. "If standing up for my daughter ruins your day, then maybe it deserves to be ruined." Emily's tears finally fell. "Mom." I looked at her, my vision blurry. "It's okay, sweetheart. You don't have to defend me. Just know I'll always defend you." She covered her face, sobbing. Daniel muttered something under his breath and stormed away, the guests whispering around him. Margaret touched my shoulder. "You did what I couldn't, Martha." "I didn't mean to cause a scene," I whispered. She smiled faintly. "Sometimes the truth needs a scene." As the music faded and the crowd dispersed, Emily walked toward me slowly. "Mom," she whispered, eyes swollen. "I'm sorry." I shook my head. "Don't be. Just promise me one thing." "What?" "Don't lose yourself for love." She looked away. "I think I already did." I pulled her into my arms. "Then we'll find you again." The chapel bells rang behind us, loud, echoing, merciless. But for the first time in months I felt her heartbeat against mine. And I knew this wasn't the end. It was the beginning of the truth. That night the house felt heavier than ever. The clock ticked too loud, the kettle hissed too long, and every shadow on the wall looked like a memory I didn't want to face. I sat at the kitchen table with 2 cups of tea. One for me, one for her. I didn't know if she'd come. But part of me, maybe the part that still believed in prayers, kept hoping. It was almost midnight when I heard the knock. 3 soft taps. I froze. Then her voice, small, shaking. "Mom? It's me." I opened the door and there she was, my daughter still in her wedding dress. Mascara smudged, veil gone, eyes swollen from crying. "Emily," I whispered. "Sweetheart, come in." She stepped inside like a ghost walking through a storm. I didn't know where else to go. "You're always safe here," I said. She sank into the chair, hands trembling. "I ruined everything, didn't I?" I sat across from her, sliding the cup of tea closer. "You didn't ruin anything. You just saw the truth sooner than most." Her lip quivered. "He said I embarrassed him. He said he couldn't believe I let you speak to him like that." I exhaled slowly. "Did he hurt you?" She looked up sharply. "No. I mean, not physically. But he said things that cut." "Like what?" I asked gently. He swallowed. "He said I'm weak. That I let people control me. That you turn me into someone needy." I clenched my hands under the table. "You're not weak, Emily. You're kind. There's a difference." She shook her head. "Maybe he's right. Maybe I always run back to you when things get hard." I leaned forward. "That's not weakness. That's trust." Tears spilled down her cheeks. "Why does it hurt so much, Mom? Why does love feel like this?" I took a deep breath. Because sometimes love isn't love. It's control dressed up in affection. He stared at me silent. Then she whispered, "You warned me, didn't you?" "I tried," I said softly. "But I didn't want to lose you by pushing too hard." She pressed her palms to her face. "He's not who I thought he was." "No," I said quietly. "He's who he showed you he was today." For a moment the only sound was the kettle cooling. Then she asked, "What do I do now?" "First," I said, "you breathe. You rest. You remember who you were before him." Her voice cracked. "And after that? You decide if you want to stay married to someone who makes you feel small." She blinked through her tears. "You make it sound so easy." "It's not easy," I said. "It's survival." She stared at her reflection in the tea. "I thought I was saving him, you know? I thought love could fix him." I smiled sadly. "I thought that once too. Love can't fix someone who doesn't think they're broken." She looked at me like she was seeing me for the first time. "You went through this with Dad, didn't you?" The air shifted. I hadn't spoken about her father in years. "Yes," I whispered. "He was gentle at first. Kind. Then little by little he started making me believe I wasn't enough. That every mistake was my fault." She whispered, "And you stayed." "For a while," I said. "Because I thought leaving would make me the villain." Her eyes glistened. "What made you finally walk away?" "The day you cried because I was crying," I said. "You were only 6. You wiped my tears and said, 'Don't be sad, Mommy. I'll be good.' That's when I knew, if I stayed you'd grow up thinking pain was normal." Her voice broke. "I didn't know. You weren't supposed to," I said. "You were just a child." We sat there, mother and daughter, silence heavy but healing. After a while she whispered, "Daniel called his mother. He said you embarrassed the family." I nodded slowly. "Margaret told me she saw his father in him." "She did?" Emily asked, surprised. "She did. He warned me to. But she said something I can't forget. Some lessons you can't stop, only witness." Emily's eyes filled again. "I wish I'd listened." "You're listening now," I said. "That's what matters." She looked at me, voice barely above a whisper. "What if I go back?" I met her eyes. "Then you go back knowing what he's capable of. But I hope you don't. Because you deserve peace, not apology." She took a shaky breath. "He said he'd change." "They all say that," I murmured. "But real change doesn't come from guilt. It comes from losing what they thought they owned." Her tears fell again. "I hate that I still love him." "That's not hate," I said softly. "That's grief." She frowned. "Grief." "Yes," I said. "You're grieving the version of him you wanted to exist." She stared at the table, her fingers tracing the rim of the cup. Do you think I'll ever forgive myself? One day, I said. When you realize it's not your fault. Her voice trembled. Can I stay here tonight? I reached for her hand. You can stay as long as you need. She squeezed my fingers like she used to when she was little. Thank you, Mom. I smiled through my tears. You don't have to thank me. You just have to heal. We sat in silence again, listening to the wind tapping against the window. The house felt lighter now, like it could breathe again. She eventually stood, taking a deep breath. I want to take off this dress. I nodded. Upstairs. Closet still full of your old clothes. She walked up slowly, holding her gown as if shedding a dream that no longer fit. I listened to the soft creak of the stairs, the sound of zippers and quiet sobs. When she came back down, she was wearing her old sweatshirt. The one with coffee stains and fading letters. Brown University. Better? I asked. She smiled faintly. Watch. We sat again, two women learning how to be honest after years of silence. She looked at me suddenly. Mom. Yes. Thank you for showing up today. I felt my chest tighten. Even though you told me not to? She nodded. As if you hadn't. I think I'd still be pretending everything was fine. I reached out, touching her cheek. Sometimes love means showing up uninvited. She laughed softly, the first laugh I'd heard from her in months. You always did that. And I always will, I said. She leaned her head on my shoulder, and for the first time that night she exhaled like she could finally breathe. Outside, rain began to fall. Slow, gentle cleansing. Inside, I whispered, "We'll be okay, Emily." She closed her eyes. I know, Mom. I know. And for the first time in years I believed her. The morning after Emily came home, the world felt different. Quieter but heavier. She was still asleep upstairs when I heard the sound of a car outside. I peeked through the curtain. Daniel. My stomach tightened. He stood by his car, phone in hand, pacing like a man rehearsing lies. A knock followed. Heart. Repeated. I opened the door slowly. Daniel. Martha, he said, forcing a smile. Is she here? Why? I just need to talk to her. You did enough talking yesterday. He sighed dramatically. Look, I didn't come to fight. I came to fix things. I crossed my arms. You think one night of silence fixes what you broke? His jaw clenched. Can I come in? I hesitated, then stepped aside. She's upstairs. But if you raise your voice once, you leave. He walked in, eyes darting around. Nice place, he muttered. Cozy. Honesty sounds better in this house, I said flatly. He ignored me. Where is she? Before I could answer, Emily appeared on the stairs. Her hair was messy, eyes swollen. Daniel, she whispered. He turned, instantly softening his tone. There you are. You scared me. She stayed on the last step. I needed space. I get that, he said. But running to your mom? After everything we promised each other? Her voice trembled. You yelled at me, Daniel. In front of everyone. He sighed, stepping closer. Because you embarrassed me, Emily. You know how that looked. My mother was furious. Your mother. I interrupted. She was the one who asked me to come. He shot me a glare. Stay out of this. I won't, I said. Not when you talk to her like that. Emily whispered, please don't. Daniel turned back to her, voice dropping. See? This is exactly what I mean. She makes everything worse. I'm your mother, I said quietly. And I see you for what you are. His smile turned sharp. You see what you want to see. Emily stepped between us. Stop it. Daniel looked at her, pretending to calm down. Baby, listen. We can fix this. Let's just go home. This is home, she said softly. His eyes darkened. No, Emily. Our home. The one we built together. The one where I cry more than I sleep, she shot back. He blinked, caught off guard. You're overreacting. I stayed still, letting the words burn through the air. Emily shook her head. You always say that. Every time you hurt me, it's me who overreacts. He stepped closer, voice low and calm, the dangerous kind of calm. I love you. You know that. He took a step back. Then why do I feel scared when you talk like that? He froze. Scared. Yes, she whispered. Because love shouldn't make me feel small. He laughed once, cold. Small? You make yourself small, Emily. You're fragile just like she raised you. My heart pounded. Enough, I said. Daniel turned toward me, eyes burning. You never liked me. You poisoned her against me from day one. I stared right back. You didn't need my help to do that. His voice rose. You don't get to destroy my marriage. Emily flinched. Daniel, please. He grabbed her wrist. You're coming with me. I stepped forward instantly. Let her go. She's my wife, he shouted. And she's my daughter, I said sharply. You don't own her. His grip tightened. Emily cried out. That sound, pure broken, hit something deep inside me. I reached for my phone behind the counter, thumb pressing record. Let her go, I repeated. He turned to me furious. You want proof I'm the bad guy? Fine. He let go of her wrist roughly. They're happy. Emily stumbled back, clutching her arm. You think everyone's out to get you, Daniel, I said, my voice steady now. But the truth is you're afraid of being seen. He sneered. You're pathetic. Maybe, I said. But I'm not cruel. He looked at Emily. Tell her you're coming home. Emily's lips trembled. No. His face twisted. You'll regret this. I already did, she whispered. He stared at her for a long, cold moment, then smiled. A dangerous, hollow smile. You think you're safe here? You're not. I'll make sure everyone knows what kind of daughter you are. Go ahead, I said. But they'll know what kind of man you are too. He frowned. What's that supposed to mean? I held up my phone. You've been recorded since you walked in. His eyes widened. You what? I played the clip, his voice echoing through the room. You're fragile just like she raised you. You don't get to destroy my marriage. You'll regret this. He froze. I stepped closer. You see, Daniel, manipulation sounds a lot uglier when you can't rewrite it. He took a step back. Delete that. No, I said quietly. This stays safe. For her. He glanced at Emily, but she didn't flinch. She just said, we're done. He looked between us, realizing he'd lost the room. You'll regret crossing me, he hissed, storming toward the door. As it slammed behind him, the silence felt electric. Emily sank into the couch, shaking. Mom, she whispered. What have I done? You stood up for yourself, I said. That's what you've done. Tears streamed down her face. He'll hate me. Then let him, I said softly. Because loving someone shouldn't mean breaking yourself to fit their love. He cried harder, clutching my arm. You're shaking, she said. So are you, I whispered. But shaking means you're alive. We sat there for a long time, listening to the sound of the rain against the windows. The storm had finally started. But this time it wasn't outside. It was ours. And we were still standing. The night I found the record, the house was too quiet. The kind of quiet that hums inside your ears until your own thoughts start sounding like ghosts. I was dusting Emily's old room, something I hadn't done in months, when my hand brushed against a small wooden box under her bed. Inside it was a flash drive taped to an envelope with my name. My name in her handwriting. My throat went dry. I sat on her old chair and whispered, Emily, what did you leave for me? I plugged the drive into my laptop. For a moment nothing happened. Then a single file appeared, Mom under wave. I clicked play. Her voice filled the room. Mom, if you're hearing this, it means I couldn't find the courage to tell you in person. I know what I've done to you can't be forgiven easily. My breath caught. Oh, Emily. Her voice cracked on the next word. I need you to know the truth about Daniel. The sound of a deep inhale followed, then a faint sniffle. I didn't invite you to the wedding because he didn't want you there. He said you'd embarrass him. He told me you called him names, that you didn't approve of us, that you'd ruin our happiness. I believed him. I slammed my palm on the desk. He said that to you? That I'd ruin your happiness? Her voice trembled through the speakers. He showed me fake messages, screenshots of you telling people I was stupid for marrying him. He even made me think you called his mother a manipulative witch. I gasped. What? I swear, Mom, I saw the screenshots. I didn't realize they were edited until it was too late. You know how I get when someone keeps repeating things. He made it sound like he was protecting me from you. Tears blurred my vision. I could almost see her face, the same as when she was little, terrified of disappointing me. I thought keeping you away would make him happy. And when he was happy I was safe. But the truth is, she paused and her breathing turned shaky, he was never happy. He just needed someone to control. First it was me. Then it was everything I loved, including you. A loud sound in the background made me flinch. It was a door closing in her recording. I started recording him, Mom. The night he told me he'd ruin you if I ever talked to you again. My body went rigid. Her voice grew faint. Listen. Then came a new sound, Daniel's voice. Smooth. Confident. Cool. She's pathetic, Emily. Your mother is a sad old woman clinging to a daughter who doesn't even need her. You want peace. Cut her out for good. I'll make sure she regrets ever crossing me. It covered my mouth. I couldn't breathe. That voice, the same one that once called me Mrs. Reynolds so politely, was dripping with venom. Emily spoke again, voice trembling. He said those things when he thought I was asleep. I wanted to believe he didn't mean it, but the next morning he deleted all my contacts, changed my number and told me it was for security. She let out a broken laugh. Security from you. I whispered, oh my sweet girl. I didn't know how to fix what I'd done. Every time I thought of calling you, I'd hear his voice in my head. Then one day he broke my phone because I tried. That's when I realized. I wasn't married. I was trapped. Her voice lowered to a whisper. I'm sorry I hurt you, Mom. But I'm getting out. I've packed my things. By the time you hear this, I'll be gone. The recording ended. Silence filled the room again, heavy and cruel. I sat frozen, my heart pounding so loudly it drowned out everything else. I hit play again. I needed to be sure I heard right. He knew. He finally knew. The doorbell rang. I jumped, my hands shaking. When I opened the door, it was Linda, Daniel's mother. Her eyes were red, mascara smudged. Martha, she said softly, we need to talk. I let her in, wary but curious. She held a small envelope and a trembling glass of composure. I found this, she said, placing another flash drive on my table. Daniel's voice again. From his office computer. I didn't know what kind of monster he'd become. I stared at her. You mean you didn't know he destroyed my relationship with my daughter? She nodded slowly, guilt washing over her. I suspected, but I thought Emily was overreacting. He's my son, Martha. I wanted to believe he was just protective. Protective. I spat. He isolated her. Lied to her. He made her hate me. She flinched. I know. And now he's paying for it. He lost his job today. The police are investigating his financial accounts. It turns out he'd been embezzling money under Emily's name. My stomach twisted. He used her name? Yes. He came to me last night crying. He told me everything. She said she'd been saving voice records, messages, proof. She was on her way to you this morning. My chest tightened. This morning. Linda nodded. But she never made it. She went to the police first. I staggered backward, gripping the chair. Where is she now? She's safe, Linda said. They're keeping her under protection while they question Daniel. For the first time in months, I exhaled, a shaky, uneven breath of something close to relief. I heard her voice again today, I whispered. On a recording she left for me. He still loves me, Linda. After everything, she still does. Linda's eyes softened. Of course she does. You're her mother. I smiled faintly through the tears. No one can fake love that deep. Not even a man like Daniel. We sat in silence for a while. The storm outside began to rumble, wind whistling through the trees. Then Linda said, she asked me to give you this. She handed me a folded piece of paper. It was a note written in Emily's familiar loops. Mom, if you're reading this, I hope you listen to the record. I want to see you. I'm sorry for every unanswered call. I love you more than I ever said out loud. My tears fell freely now. She's coming back, I whispered. This time I'll be waiting. Linda reached across the table, squeezing my hand. She's strong. Like her mother. I looked out the window, the rain streaking the glass like the years that had washed between us. No, I said softly, she's stronger. Because she learned how to break the silence I never could. And for the first time in a long, long while I felt hope. Not the fragile kind that breaks under disappointment, but the steady kind that hums like a heartbeat in the dark. The kind that says, this story isn't over yet. The church bells were ringing when I stepped out of the car. My hands trembled, but not from fear, from purpose. After everything I'd heard on that recording, I knew I couldn't stay silent any longer. Inside the place was a sea of white and gold. Flowers hung like promises no one intended to keep. Guests whispered and smiled as Emily walked down the aisle, radiant in her dress. My heart ached. She looked like the little girl I once carried in my arms, trusting me with her whole world. But then I saw him. Daniel. Standing tall, polished, confident. The same voice that called me pathetic. The same man who destroyed my family with lies. I took a breath and started walking. Gasps echoed as heads turned. I heard whispers ripple through the crowd. Is that her mother? Wasn't she uninvited? What's she doing here? Emily froze mid-step. Her eyes widened. Mom. I smiled, though my lips trembled. Hello, sweetheart. Daniel's face drained of color. What are you doing here, Martha? Funny, I said softly. I was about to ask you the same thing. The priest hesitated. Perhaps we should. No, I interrupted, my voice louder than I expected. We won't stop. We'll finish this. All of it. Emily looked between us, her confusion sharp as glass. Mom, please, don't make a scene. I didn't come to make a scene, I said. I came to tell the truth. Daniel stepped forward, his smile tight. Everyone, please excuse this interruption. Martha has emotional issues. She's been struggling since her husband died. Sometimes. Enough. My voice cracked like thunder. Don't you dare use my grief to hide your lies. A stunned silence fell. Even the music stopped. I reached into my bag and held up the flash drive. This is your voice, Daniel. The one you thought no one would ever hear. The one where you called me pathetic, where you told Emily to cut me off, where you swore you'd ruin me. Daniel's jaw twitched. You're bluffing. Am I? I looked at the sound technician by the corner. Would you mind? The man hesitated, then took the drive. Seconds later, Daniel's voice filled the church speakers. Cold, arrogant, unmistakable. She's pathetic, Emily. Your mother is a sad old woman clinging to a daughter who doesn't even need her. Gasps rippled through the room. Emily's bouquet slipped from her hands, petals scattering like broken trust. Daniel lunged toward the technician. Turn that off. But the man stepped back, shaking his head. It's already playing. Emily's voice echoed next, her trembling words from the recording. He deleted my contacts, changed my number, told me I was safe from my own mother. Stop it. Daniel roared, grabbing the laptop. You don't know what you're doing. I stepped forward, calm as still water. Oh, I know exactly what I'm doing. He spun toward me, red-faced. You think you've won, old woman? You think anyone will believe you? I met his glare. They already do. Linda, his mother, stood up from the front pew. Daniel, sit down. He froze. Mother. Her voice was trembling but firm. I heard the recordings too. I helped Martha bring them here. A collective gasp. The guests stared, whispering, phones already out recording every second. Daniel's composure cracked. You betrayed me? I protected the truth, Linda said. Something you've forgotten how to do. Emily turned to him, tears streaking her makeup. Is it true? She whispered. Did you make me believe my own mother hated me? Daniel opened his mouth, but nothing came out. Answer me, she cried. His silence was answer enough. Emily shook her head. All this time, all those nights I cried, thinking Mom had turned against me, you were the one lying. Emily, please, he started. I did it because I loved you. Love? She shouted. You don't destroy someone's family for love. Her voice echoed through the church. Every word hit like a hammer. I felt my knees weaken, pride and sorrow mixing inside me. My daughter, the same girl who once whispered, I'm scared of speaking up, was standing tall now, her voice steady, her heart on fire. Daniel reached out, desperate. You don't understand. No, she said coldly, stepping back. You don't. You never did. Security approached. Someone must have called them. The guests began murmuring louder, some clapping, others gasping. Daniel's mother whispered, They're here for him. The officers walked up. Daniel Carter, you're under arrest for fraud and emotional coercion. You have the right to remain silent. He struggled, shouting, You can't do this to me. She set me up. But his voice drowned under the sound of handcuffs clicking shut. As they led him away, Emily turned toward me, eyes full of tears. For a second neither of us spoke. Then she whispered, "I'm so sorry." I stepped forward and cupped her face. "You don't have to apologize, baby. You came back. That's all that matters." "I should have trusted you," she said. "I should have known you'd never say those things." I smiled through my tears. "You were scared. And sometimes love makes us blind. But you opened your eyes before it was too late." She threw her arms around me, trembling. "I missed you so much, Mom." I held her close, breathing her in the way I used to when she was small. "You're safe now," I whispered. "It's over." Linda approached quietly. "Emily," she said softly, "I'm sorry too. For all of it. For defending him when I shouldn't have." Emily nodded. "You didn't know." Linda sighed. "But I should have. A mother always knows." We stood together, 3 women connected by pain, by loss, by strength. Around us, guests whispered, photographers clicked, but none of it mattered. The truth was out. The lies were done. The priest cleared his throat awkwardly. "Do you wish to continue the ceremony?" Emily looked at me, then at the empty aisle. "No," she said firmly. "This wedding is cancelled." A murmur of approval swept through the crowd. She turned to me again, a small smile tugging at her lips. "But maybe one day when I've healed, I'll invite you first." I laughed softly, tears streaming again. "I'll be there early. I promise." As we walked out of the church together, sunlight broke through the clouds, painting gold across the floor. For the first time in years I didn't feel broken. I felt free. Because this wasn't just the end of a wedding. It was the end of silence. The end of control. And the beginning of truth. The house smells like cinnamon again. I haven't baked in years, but this morning, I woke up wanting to fill the silence with something warm. The same recipe Emily used to love. Apple cinnamon bread. I can almost hear her laugh as she'd peek into the oven asking, "Is it done yet, Mom?" She's sitting at my kitchen table now, that same shy smile from her childhood tugging at her lips. It feels unreal seeing her here again. No veil, no lies, no walls. Just my daughter. I place the tray down. "Careful. It's still hot." She grins faintly. "You haven't changed." "Neither have you," I tease. "Still impatient." She laughs, then her smile fades. "I missed this. I missed you." I sit across from her. "I missed you too, sweetheart. More than you'll ever know." For a moment we just sit there in the kind of quiet that doesn't hurt anymore. She looks down at her hands. "Mom, do you ever think you'll forgive me? For how I treated you?" I shake my head gently. "Forgive you? Emily, I already have. The moment I heard your voice on that recording, I forgave you." Her eyes fill with tears. "But I was cruel. I said things. Because you believed what you were told," I interrupt softly. "That's what manipulation does. It makes good people feel guilty for being lied to." She nods slowly. "I thought I was protecting my future. I didn't realize I was burning my past." I reach across the table and take her hand. "You didn't burn it. You just closed the door for a while. But you opened it again. That's what matters." She squeezes my hand. "He's gone now. The police found everything. Emails, accounts, the fake messages. He'll probably go to prison." I exhale deeply. Good. Maybe now he'll understand what real consequences feel like. Her voice trembles. "Do you hate him?" I think for a moment. I used to. But hate keeps you tied to people who don't deserve your thoughts. So no, I don't hate him anymore. She studies me quietly. "You're stronger than me." I smile. "No, I'm just older. I've learned that strength doesn't mean never breaking. It means choosing to heal after you do." She wipes her eyes. "I still feel stupid." "You're not stupid. You were in love." Her lips tremble. "Love shouldn't hurt like that." "No," I whisper. "But sometimes it does before we learn what it really means." We sit in silence again, the smell of cinnamon wrapping around us like a blanket. Outside, the sky is pale gold, the kind of morning that feels like a fresh start. She finally says, "I've been seeing a counselor. I wanted to tell you sooner." I nod, smiling proudly. "I'm glad. Talking helps." "She said I should try to rebuild trust where it's still safe," Emily continues. "That's why I came home." Tears sting my eyes. "You'll always have a home here, Emily." Always. Her voice softens. I didn't expect you to let me in so easily. I didn't let you in easily, I say with a small laugh. I let you in because I never shut you out. Her face crumples. You're too good, Mom. I shake my head. No. I'm just done letting pain win. We both laugh quietly through our tears. Later that afternoon we go through old photo albums together. Every picture feels like a lifetime ago. Her first birthday, her school recital, the day she graduated. Moments that used to ache now feel like small blessings. She pauses on one picture, her wedding invitation draft. The one I never received. She looks at me nervously. Do you want me to throw it away? I stare at it for a long moment. No, I say finally. Keep it. It's part of your story. We don't heal by erasing what hurt us. We heal by remembering how far we've come. She nods, slipping it back into the album. You always know what to say. Not always, I admit. Sometimes I just say what I needed to hear when I was hurting. As the sun begins to set, she helps me pack leftovers. The light hits her face in a way that reminds me of her father. Kind eyes, a quiet strength. She glances toward the window. Mom, do you ever think about Dad? Every day, I whisper. But it doesn't make me sad anymore. It reminds me that love can be real. That it can survive even after the people we love are gone. She smiles softly. I hope I find that kind of love someday. You will, I tell her. The real kind doesn't take away your voice. It amplifies it. Before she leaves that night, she stands by the door hesitating. Can I come back tomorrow? I grin. If you don't, I'll just come find you. She laughs, hugging me tight. Deal. When the door closes behind her, I sink into the old armchair by the window. The house feels alive again, quiet but not empty. The kind of quiet that holds peace instead of pain. I look around at the old photos, the worn walls, the flicker of candlelight reflecting off the window. My life isn't perfect. It never was. But it's mine again. There's a small sound on the table. A message alert from my phone. It's from Emily. Made it home safe. Love you, Mom. I type back, smiling through my tears. Love you more. For a long time I just sit there watching the rain start to fall outside. It's gentle, like forgiveness washing everything clean. I whisper to the empty room, we made it through. Maybe love doesn't always look like what we expect. Maybe sometimes it leaves scars instead of flowers. But even then, love stays. It lingers in the air, in the smell of cinnamon, in the laughter that returns after too much silence. Love leaves traces. And those traces are what keep us whole.